Ret, Rotterdam, this is pretty sick.
This is going to be hopefully a really good game. Let's hope that Tarson can at least spice it up a little bit for the audience here as well. 1-1. I do still think it was a decent game from Tarson. He just couldn't know that Ret actually had nothing, because Ret really did have nothing when those heavy ends.
Yeah, I think he gave Ret a little bit too much respect there, and that's that's a huge nod to Ret and the quality of play that he is. But Tarson opted for a really aggressive opening, and he just didn't do anything with it.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with game 2.
Okay, guys, we are back. Game number 2, Liquid Ret versus Tarson. Tarson's in, oh shoot, Rotterdam, I feel bad. What team is Tarson on?
Millennium.
Millennium. Man, I am such
one of the stronger
failcaster.
European teams. Have a very strong lineup. Stefano is in the team as well. Todd is in the team, of course, the Warcraft 3 legend. So in general, very strong team. Dicestar is in it as well.
Yes. Really, you're right. There's a lot of talent there. We've got Tarson spawning as the red Terran up here in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And, of course, Liquid Ret, the blue Zerg down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Cross position once again. This is really you're gonna see the strength of Ret's macro on a map like this.
Do you think we're going to see something similar for Tarson, or do you think he's going to really mix it up, perhaps with one of those famous marine tank pushes, which we see oh so often on Tal'Darim? But I guess cross map doesn't really favor that strategy as much as a sort of close position. I say close between brackets, because of course close is not that close, but it's still closer than cross. Yeah,
the positions don't scream tank push, but a tank push is really good on any map, quite frankly. One thing that I was starting to talk about before we went to that short break there was the opening Tarson opted for in the last game was a very aggressive opening. But he didn't commit to the aggression, right? So that's almost like saying, okay, Rotterdam, we're going to play a ZVP and you're going to 4-gate me but then not attack. Why would you do that?
And stop on 18 probes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a criticism. If Tarson's going to open that aggressively, he has to try. Even if he doesn't do big economic damage, he can at least kill the lings and force more lings, right? It's almost indirect damage in that regard.
No, it makes makes absolute sense what you're saying right there. And I was a bit surprised as well that Tarson didn't really follow up that aggressive opening with actually some serious damage. Didn't want to load up. Of course, those 3 queens were scary. Yeah. But if you invest that much into, or at least invest reasonable much into your opening, then you have to do something with it, which didn't happen. But let's see if he's going to switch it up for game 2 here on Tal'Darim Altar. But I do think in general a very nice Zerg map, certainly with these positions.
Yeah, in Zerg versus Terran, I do feel like this is going to favor Ret. If just a little bit, if nothing else. Similar opening here out of Tarson. He's gone for the 1 gas, 1 racks opening, so we're going to see a little bit of tech. He's saving up for that first 100 gas. I expect we'll see a factory going down right behind it. And Ret, meanwhile, playing the same style as we saw in the last game. 15 hatch, 15 pool, getting his gas around 17. He opens this way in almost all of his matchups.
Yeah, of course, just a very solid and reasonably safe opening. There isn't really that much getting wrong. Of course, it can be hard to fight off perhaps a temporary cannon rush or a little bunker contain with 2 racks, but that's not something that you're going to face too often on Tal'Darim Altar. So
yeah, that's very true.
Completely understand the opening from Ret. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, even sending out 2 drones really early to check and see if a bunker is going up. He doesn't see anything. First SCV from Tarson just now poking into the natural of Ret, getting that scout in. Meanwhile, back in Tarson's main, once again, we're going to see some reactored Hellions. I wonder if it's going to be Blue Flame or if he's going to keep it a little bit more standard marine tank stuff.
I wonder if it's just going to be like this time 6 Hellions from that reactor factory, which would make a lot of sense, certainly on Tal'Darim. Because I mean, if you get into the expand, you almost get into the main straight away. The both are just so closely connected, and it's quite hard for a Zerg to go wall off. I mean, we see European Zergs, especially Stefano, for instance, because I always call it the Stefano wall, where he goes for those 2 spine crawlers, the evolution chamber, sometimes even a roach one just to complete the wall. Certainly on a map like this, it makes a lot of sense because the entrance is quite big, and certainly 6 Hellions. I mean, Hellions are a fast unit; they can drive by.
Man, virtually an identical opening to what we saw in the last game coming here out of Tarson, even walling the front with that command center. And Tech Lab going down on the rack. So I feel like,
switch it up.
To Tarson's credit, he's a fantastic player, so I'm sure he realizes what he did wrong in the last game. So maybe he's saying to himself, okay, I can make this work. I just have to commit to that aggression. I have to make sure I deal damage in the early game so that Ret's drone count doesn't just explode and get completely out of hand.
He was fly capped for a couple of seconds, but no big deal. But he's going to leave the reactor on the factory for now, though. So 2 more Hellions are on his way. We do see Ret, of course, throwing down his spine crawlers. Starting creep threat already, Ret. One of the first players ever to start with that very fast 3rd queen and start spreading out. I believe that was when he back then moved to Korea for that for the GOM TV qualifiers back then.
That's really funny that you mentioned that. I was just thinking the other day about how people didn't realize how good creep was until quite a while into the life of Starcraft 2. A couple of Hellions here at the front. Ret is going to poke at those with his 3rd queen. She's not going to be able to catch him off creep, though.
24 SCVs right now for Tarson, 34 Zerglings already, 34 drones already for Ret. We do see him switching up that factory once again, but this time a little bit later. We already have 4 Hellions. This Overlord is going to get taken out though by these 2 Marines. Good job right there by Tarson. I kind of wonder what that Overlord was doing in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that feels like a little bit of a misstep out of Ret. And the thing about a player of Ret's caliber, he's got every one of his Overlords timed out specifically, right? So that's going to set him back just a little bit. It's not going to be a huge deal. A little bit of a Hellion poke at the front. They're going to see a couple of coins and a Spine Crawler. Oh, picking off a Creep Tumor. No, Ret canceled that. Very, very smart play out of Ret.
Yeah, exactly. That's those minor things that matter a lot, actually. Tarzan not sure whether he wants to go in or not. Takes 1 hit of these Spine Crawlers. Spine Crawlers will do a lot of damage on these Hellions.
Yeah, and again, identical build to the last game out of Tarson. Starport is down, Medevac is on the way. A lot of Marines being produced in Blue Flame, about 75% complete. So the real question here, look at this, and Ret doing the same thing as well. His Spire going right down, just going straight to layers, straight to Spire. This is almost Dong Regu style if you had to give a throwback to a Korean Zerg.
Well, we do have 16 Zerglings on the field this time, so that's at least a little safe. But of course, Zerglings do melt away against Blue Flame Hellions in general. About 16 Zerglings, that's 15 more than he had last game when he went for the Muda. So. And
one thing about Tal'Darim Ultra is there's just a lot more space on this map. So I feel like Tarson will almost certainly find room to drop here. So in my opinion, he should be able to get in. He should do some damage with this.
He is going with the Marines now in the middle of the map as well. Medevac is on its way, so it's going to get a little bit of additional energy as well. 3 more Rexes going down right now for Tarzan, even before his expand really starts to kick in, even though he did start mining from it. Only 30 SCVs though, it's not that many. 51 drones from Ret already. I mean, Tarzan's really going to have to do some economical damage. It doesn't have to be huge, but at least 5, 6, 7 drones, something like this. Because he's gonna need to close that gap.
You're right. But the Spire about to finish, so Red is just a few seconds away from having a few mutas out. He does have those 3 queens up at the front. Hellions are poking once again. They are gonna actually. Oh no! Ling flank set up here. So the Hellions are trying to engage that Spine Crawler. Here come the Zerglings, but they're not actually gonna fight here. Queens are being microed away very, very diligently. 7 mutas on the way. If the mutas can come out, I feel like Ret should be pretty safe.
But we do have 9 Marines though, and a Medevac. Stim is not ready as of yet. Here we go, Ret going for it right now with these Zerglings. A lot of Zerglings getting roasted straight away, but every Marine that he can take down is one that really matters a lot. We don't have a lot of Marines left, only 1 right now for Tarzan actually. He might actually just kill all of the Marines with Ling only.
Yeah, once again, Ret does hold here. A couple of Hellions are going to get down into the main. They're going to roast 2 drones, and no! The shot does not get off there. So once again, I feel a couple more Hellions getting in the back there, but once again, I feel like Tarson just not doing enough damage to justify his opening. Rotterdam, I think he made a mistake attacking through the front. I mean, why engage those spines when you can go around them with that dropship?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not the Zerg expert. You're the Zerg player over there. But yeah, I do think you're right. On the other hand, it is Tarzan after all, and I'm sure that he practiced this. Perhaps he felt he could have handled it. Could have gone a little better. I don't know. I did feel that the Zerglings did get the flank off perhaps a little bit too good though. Like the Hellions got a couple of decent shots off, but nothing spectacular. You know, not 12 Zerglings in one volley or whatever. Anyways, we have these mutas right now engaging on this missile turret, but Tarzan does manage to save this missile turret with his lonely hero SCV right there repairing it. So good job right there.
Yes, sir. 3rd base and 4th base going up for Ret. So realizing that he's got all sorts of map control right now and double expanding behind it, he should feel safe for quite a while. Tarson lost that first army, and a lot of times when a Terran player loses his initial army, it just slows him down so much. So we're going to see a lot of drones coming out of Ret. He's building 4 right now, and basically he's dumping all of his gas into mutas, and all that excess money goes into the drones.
I do love these missile turrets from Tarzan as well. Like actually the Mr. kind of guarding this tech lab, this also important tech lab where he's researching Stim, and he's actually going to go for combat shield straight away after it. I really do like it. Often you still see Terrans having that also important tech lab kind of unprotected. It does get sniped off on an unfortunate moment, and your entire game plan goes into jeopardy because you can never come back from that, or at least you can't follow up with the original timings that you had in your mind after you lose such a
look at this, Tarson actually out on the map again. I'm not sure I agree with this. Ret, Muta's coming back into the back. There's no turrets protecting this mineral line, so a lot of SCVs could go down here instead. Ret's going to focus on the supply depot, and look at this, Tarson pushing all the way through to the